Imagine waking up to this at 3 a.m.
Hello, police? Yeah, the dude from Superbad is at my doorstep and he keep ringing my doorbell like he crazy. Well, huh? I don't know what he want. He finna want me to stop kicking his ass if he don't get off my porch. That's why I'm calling you. Yes, I'll hold his severed head in my hand and present it to your officers when they get here.
At around 2:30 in the morning, the family woke up to this staring through their window, a silent figure standing motionless behind the blinds, almost as if she was already inside. The video shows a woman standing perfectly still behind the window, illuminated just enough to reveal an expression that's almost blank. Too calm for someone who's supposedly lost, but too focused for someone who wandered up by accident. The family had no idea who she was, and at that hour, no one should have been anywhere near their home. Viewers compared the stare to something out of a horror game, a figure that doesn't move unless you look away. Some commenters joked to break the tension, but the fear is real, because the man seems aware of the camera, yet completely unfazed by it. No attempt to explain himself, no gesture, no sound, just a strange, unwavering stare through the slats of the blinds. Others believe he might not have been an intruder at all, but something mimicking a human shape, a doppelganger, a mimic, or worse, something that wanted to be noticed.
The serpent at the gate is moving. Using historical data from Google Earth, we can determine how far it has moved over 35 years.
Wait. This thing has taken 35 years to move? Listen, I'm just saying, I can run faster than 35 years an hour. I mean, damn, I'm fat, but golly, man.
Using a point of reference unassociated with the body part of the serpent, the Falkland Islands.
What islands are they again? What? I'm just saying, because...
Like when I was going to college, I was in a history.
That's not the one you was talking about? Okay, I'm just clearing it up. God.
To the first island, which is the first tooth on the serpent, reveals a distance of 38 kilometers covered over a span of 35 years. Another reference point, Tasmania, which lies off the southern coast of Australia, unassociated with the body part of the serpent. To the first tooth, again, which is the first island. Compared with the historical data from the 1985 Google Earth, reveals a distance of 38 kilometers difference. The last measurement performed is between the two distances of the two serpents, the one in the Southern Ocean and the one in the Caribbean, from 1985 until 2020, 54-kilometer difference. And the last measurement is the measurement of its head in 1985 to 2020. It should remain the same, and it does. The 6 islands in the Southern Ocean represent the snout of the serpent at the gate, and all show signs of volcanic activity, especially number 4. This thing is moving, and it's not tectonic plates.
I think Hollywood is the movie division of the CIA. I mean, if you look at the JFK assassination, for instance, there's a picture of Lyndon Johnson being sworn in. And there's a little guy in the back leaning against the window staring like that. That guy is Jack Valente, the president of Motion Picture and Television Association America. Wow. He moved into the White House and was the publicist for the White House, living in the Lincoln bedroom through Lyndon Johnson's transition, and handled the narrative and press.
I'm sorry. Anytime I hear the word transitions now, I automatically think...
You think that's funny, huh? You think that's funny, huh?
There's a very deep relationship between Hollywood or movies and content. That's why you're seeing now with social media and all of this, they don't need Hollywood anymore. So now the Jack Valentes are Mark Zuckerberg. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The movie companies are Zuckerberg and TikTok, Eliason, and all of these guys. Now they don't need to run press through movies and stuff like that. They just run it through your handheld.
Well, Jimmy, hell is where our agents make our deals with the devil.
Oh, that explains that.
Cold, but we're going to hell.
Hey, I have a question. Has anyone here ever actually been to hell?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone?
Of course, yeah.
What's it like?
Well, hell's terrible, Jimmy. It really is.
This wasn't a random joke. It was aired on late night TV with millions watching, celebrities laughing about going to hell. It might sound harmless, but words carry power. Think about it. Why would you joke about eternal suffering? Comedy has always been used to hide the truth in plain sight. And when comedians push it too close to reality, the shows suddenly get cancelled. Even saying those words over and over again is like speaking a curse into existence. What if humour is just a mask used to make darkness look harmless? Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
Have you heard about this?
No.
Nescafe broke into the Japanese market, and it's like they went to this consultant, they're asking him, how do we get in? And he's like, you can't get in. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, it's going to be 15 years. They're like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, they don't know what the fuck coffee is over there. Okay, you're trying to be tea, you're not tea. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a cartoon, and you're going to spend some few million on that, and then you're going to make a candy based on a cartoon, and then that candy is going to be flavored as coffee. And when these kids grow up, they're going to have this memory of coffee and the flavor of the smell of coffee. And I think last week they just opened the biggest Starbucks in the world in Tokyo, and these people devour coffee like no other. And the idea is like, the takeaway for me, the reason why I tell the story all the time is like, change comes from underneath. The idea is like, if you want to change any, it's the same reason why I did my shit on YouTube, is like, if you want to change any industry or something like that, it's never going to come within the traditional structure. You know what I mean? It's like,
I put that in there because the powers that be had to figure out a way to change marriage, the whole dynamic. And they did that with the help of the feminist movement. Now, don't get me wrong. Feminism, the way they explained it, is good. But the way they really wanted to do it, always, the way it is now, was always basuda.
There's a theory, though.
Okay.
And people are saying that all of this Diddy commotion isn't the thing we should be looking at. This is all the distraction.
Okay.
The theory goes, around literally the same time Diddy got arrested, something huge happened just now. And it's around 23andMe.
What happened?
You know what 23andMe is, right?
Yeah, like the DNA test?
So it's a DNA, like, ancestry company that pretty much takes your saliva, they test it, and it shows your ancestry. Well, what do they have? Your DNA samples.
Okay.
Of pretty much everyone in the world that wanted to find out their ancestry.
Yeah, so what happened?
When Diddy got arrested, when this whole commotion is on the rise, just so happens every single board member of 23andMe quit all at the same time. So check this out. So there's hella theories going on, right?
I did not know.
Hella theories going on. First off, the conspiracy with 23andMe specifically, did you know the CEO at the time? You know who it was?
Who?
It was the wife of the owner, of the CEO of YouTube and Google.
Wait, the girl?
Yeah, the wife owned 23andMe, but the husband owned Google. Now back this shit, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to put some spooky music behind it, but I didn't. Okay.
If you're trying to claim that money from the Google Gmail class action lawsuit,
Lady, we not trying to do that. Karen, God.
This ain't flowers, y'all. This is chess. And 50 Cent just exposed the first move. 50 Cent ain't posting this for jokes. He posting this to show this was a message sent to him by P. Diddy. It was a warning wrapped in flowers. 50 Cent is a smart man, y'all. He know what he doing. He made this shit public to let y'all know. Think about it, y'all. Why would P. Diddy send 50 Cent flowers? He did this after he dropped the little
Can someone tell me why October is the 10th month of the year when Oct means 8, and why December is the 12th month of the year when Deca means 10? Something just isn't adding up, especially when I know that the lunar cycle is 28 days, and if we broke down our year, we would be able to split it into 13 equal months of 28 days each, all ending on a Sunday and starting on a Monday.
Yeah, you gotta have that conversation with your husband. Or if you're currently dating, which dating is just a synonym for f***ing, you gotta find a guy that you like to sleep with, but also you can have that conversation with. Because everyone else is gonna think you're insane. Shout out to the women in the audience who found that guy. Hats off to you, ma'am and sir. But more so hats off to you, ma'am, because it's a combination of you can talk like this. He's not gonna say, oh, you're weird, and you like sleeping with him. It's like you don't get all of those with us, one or the other. And he's good looking. Oh, you hit the jackpot. You better be making him a sandwich as soon as he asks you. Because us as guys, you don't get all of those in one guy is what I'm trying to say to you women in the audience. Fellas, we already know this, but I'm not sleeping with your man. He cool people's with me. You got to live with him, dummy. So let's go.
What percentage of the atmosphere is CO2?
What percentage of the atmosphere is CO2? I don't have that calculation for you, sir.
Maybe you could tell us what your personal guess is on what percentage of the CO2.
I don't make those guesses, sir.
You're the head of the EPA and you don't know. You have all of these laws based on, you're going to get your staffer to tell you now. But you're the head of the EPA and you did not know what percentage, and now you are basing policies that impact dramatically on the American people, and you didn't even know what the content of CO2 in the atmosphere was, which is the justification for the very policies you're talking about?
If you're asking me how much CO2 is in the atmosphere, not a percentage, but how much, we have just reached levels of 400 parts per million.
I think I was very clear what I was asking, and I was very clear you didn't know. Let me ask you if CO2, from what I have understand, is only 1/1% of the atmosphere. And you believe that this minimal, tiny element, and by the way, only 10% of that, from what I understand, is actually man-made. And of course, whatever you're suggesting and is being suggested as the basis for creating these what we consider draconian controls is that 1/10 that is man-made of the 1/1% that will have an impact on the weather to the point that it will actually impact people's health.
And that is called bullshucks, kids. Well, at least that's what we called it in the 1900s and 70s. We called it that because she's bullshucking you. I don't know what you call it now, but that's what we used to call it.
You guys need to watch the intro to this Melody Martinez concert. This might be one of the creepiest things I have ever seen, especially what she says at the end.
Hello, airplanes. I know you can't see me. Wanna know a secret? Look into the light and repeat after me. Our energy can't be destroyed. We find the light within our void. We've been here before. We could do it again. The house remembers. We are protected. We are immortal. And tonight, the sun.
The checkered floor was never created as a symbol of evil. It was designed as a training device to reset perception and stabilize the mind under contrast. Ancient builders used black and white patterns to break linear thought loops. The alternating squares forced the brain out of autopilot and into conscious presence. The floor represents duality only so it can be transcended, not worshipped. It teaches the operator to hold coherence while surrounded by opposites. When someone walks across it slowly, the pattern resets their spatial awareness. It interrupts unconscious emotional spirals and restores internal orientation. Mystery schools used it as a calibration chamber. It allowed students to feel the difference between reactive perception and controlled perception. The pattern is not moral, symbolic, or supernatural. It is a geometric tool that forces the field to stabilize through contrast. Standing on the squares teaches the body to regulate its inner axis. Each step builds the ability to stay centered while energy around you shifts. The pattern trains the operator to see from above the polarity instead of inside it. This is why many initiation halls used it at their entrance. A checkered floor was never about darkness versus light. It was about alignment versus distortion, coherence versus noise. Its purpose taught, it resets your system, clears cognitive clutter, and brings the operator back into deliberate control.
You better start paying attention because they've been putting it in plain sight for decades. You see, not only do they mock it in their mockumentary movies, but they've been putting it right under your nose in commercials for kids. Commercials that not only mock us for how dumb they think we are, but commercials that literally tell us how they are trying to numb us from caring about figuring it out.
I don't think they're doing it to mock us. I mean, yeah, probably, but one, they have to tell you what they're doing. I think it's called in law an addendum, but I think it's more like the clip earlier where the guys was trying to get into the coffee industry in Japan, and they're like, well, you can't do it. You got to basically trick these people from childhood into thinking it's some nostalgic childhood memory. And then you sneak attack them, and then you start selling them coffee. That's what I think they're doing with this thing. But what do I know? I'm from the 1900s. That's when I was born.
And by the way, they consider us the cavity creeps.
As evening approaches Toothopolis, so do the cavity creeps.
Oh no! Cavity creeps!
Hurry, the crest's up.
I mean, I just had to point this out. Come on.
Cavity creeps spotted!
We make holes in teeth! We make holes in teeth!
Press the fluorescent camera will fix them!
Not crest!
Yay, crest!
Watch treats,
See your dentist.
and fight the cavity creeps like the crest team.
Fight cavities with crest!
It's funny, have you ever seen what happens to people who go too far south towards Antarctica? A Navy ship. Funny, kind of looks like a Navy ship or submarine to me, but they're not shooting bullets.
Simulation theory states that if simulated worlds, like video games, ever get to a point that we cannot tell them apart from reality, then we can effectively conclude that our reality isn't real, but we're actually all living in a simulation, and I can prove it with basic math. So we have our reality, V0. Someone in this so-called reality will eventually create a simulated world, like a video game, with perfect graphics and AI models that perfectly emulate humans, physics, and every single thing in our world with one-to-one accuracy. A perfect simulation of our universe. Call it V1. If V1 truly is an exact replica of our reality, then follow me here, it is 100% guaranteed that someone in V1, like a AI human model, will eventually create their own simulated world inside of V1. If someone did it in V0 and V1 is a carbon copy of V0, then someone will do it again in V1. Another simulated world with perfect graphics and AI models that perfectly emulate humans, physics, and every single thing inside of V1 with one-to-one accuracy. That would be V2. Now the same thing would happen in V2, which creates V3, which creates V4, starting a chain reaction of simulated worlds inside simulated worlds. Infinite nested simulation. simulations, like a dream inside of a dream inside of a dream that by definition goes on forever. By the logic we've used so far, this chain is guaranteed to start as soon as someone in our world creates this perfect video game. Now let's pause and take a step back. We have one real reality, the base reality, V0, and an infinite amount of simulated worlds, V1 to V infinity. So the probability that our world, the one you're in right now, is the base reality, V0, would be 1 out of infinity, which mathematically speaking is 0%. A 0% probability we're in the base reality equals a 100% probability we're actually living in a simulation. Now the counter theory to this states we haven't created this perfect simulation video game in our reality yet, which means we're either in V0 and haven't figured out how to make it yet, and maybe it's not even possible and we never will, or we're the last simulation in the chain, VX or whatever, and we're still trying to figure out how to create our own perfect simulation, VX+1, which then brings our probability of being in the base reality up to 1 out of 2, 50%, V0 reality or VX simulation. The counter theory to that is that once we do figure out how to create that perfect simulation, this 50-50 scenario no longer applies because we figured it out and we're right back to where we started. 1 out of infinity, simulation 100% confirmed with sheer math and numbers. Go cry about it. And in case you got lost in the explanation here, remember,
it is a simulation. It is a test like Flight Simulator. There are correct answers to the test. We have been given the answers. Just are we listening? To people in power? Hope we're not. Huh? Well, that does make it a little more difficult to concentrate, but well, we're not talking about me right now.
What's that? Oh, after doing some investigation, they're finding out that Kenneka Jenkins, the one that was in the freezer that died not long ago, isn't actually Kenneka Jenkins. Tell me more! Yeah, the story gets crazy because basically what's going on is Kenneka Jenkins is supposedly the girl that died in this freezer, right? But it's not Kenneka Jenkins. There was actually a 48-year-old woman named Antonia Evans, and she was the one that actually was the one that perished in the freezer that. But why the secrecy? Well, because they wanted to harvest Kenneka Jenkins' organs. But the crazy thing is, it sounds like it was the mother who set the whole thing up, and she was going to get a big payday for these organs. Not only that, she anticipated getting some sort of a movie deal or something along those lines as well. But they're using Antonia Evans' body as the one that was in the casket that she was buried. But now the body is going to be exhumed up from the casket and find out if it's actually Kenneka Jenkins. But they believe it's not going to be. They think it's going to be Antonia Evans because they have been putting this together and piecing this together now. So this whole case is about to get blown wide open. Oh, goody.
I did not realize that you can quite literally draw a direct line from Prince to Michael Jackson, to Ye, and then now to Justin Bieber and the things that they have been saying and what they are trying to do. Now, I did not grow up in a Prince household beyond a couple of his major hits, namely Raspberry Beret and When Doves Cry. So when he died on April 21st of 2016, at the very young age of 57, I did not venture to look beyond the media headlines in terms of that story. Well, I'm just learning he was constantly at war with the executives at the record labels. And I want to show you this clip of him discussing how he viewed record labels. This is from 2004. Take a listen.
Ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise. And they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship, right?
Actually, such an interesting point that I had never even thought of. Like, how did the record labels just decide that they own your voice? They should be operating like FedEx. Like, we can distribute your music, but you don't own the thing that you are distributing, similar to FedEx. He also discussed very early on something that we now know to be quite intentional when we think about the MK Ultra program, but just the degeneration of music over time. Like, people were playing instruments, people had these nice themes that they were singing about, and suddenly there was this radical shift and music has become increasingly more raunchy and more pornographic. Well, he was early to that game, and here's what he had to say to MTV News about that degeneration. Take a listen.
What was it that you were listening to
in music today that made you say, I gotta put some more stuff out there? You have to do this.
Mainly I sensed a great deal of negativity and entropy in the music. There's a disintegration going on that we really have to address. Our values have been lessened to a great degree. VH1's been pretty cool. They don't show too much craziness on their channel, but other Viacom channels do. So I think that we should address this as a community as to what it's doing to the culture. People can say all they want to, that there's no reason for these kids to listen to music and then go shoot somebody. But, you know, there's something that's triggering these buttons.
Just incredible because, like I'm just telling you, this is the first time that I've ever heard this because I didn't follow Prince in his musical career. And I just can't believe that he was having this exact same discussion that we know Michael Jackson was having and then Ye was having. And just to show this to you again, I know I showed it to you on Thursday. Let's just listen to what Michael Jackson was saying about these same record labels.
Record companies really, really do conspire against their artists. They steal, they cheat, they do whatever they can, especially the black artists. Tommy Mottola is the president of the record division. He is a mean, he's a racist, and he's very, very, very devilish.
Here is Ye and what he had to say in 2022.
We can't just say, oh, it's okay for people to like super complicate deals and to collude on deals and to not look at us as human beings, as artists and athletes and actors, that we have to be willing to like stand up for that to be able to change something. And we need to come together as a society to be the first civilization that actually became civil.
Gosh, it all sounds so reasonable, right? When you hear it like that, but that's not what the media tells us about these people. I mean, when you start speaking like that as an artist or as a podcaster or as somebody who's within any kind of contract, suddenly the media comes down on you hard. And like we said, wacko dacko. Here's a collage of some headlines. Here's Justin Bieber, a recent collage of the headlines that are coming at him right now. And I think the message is pretty clear. If they cannot control you, they will ruin you. So I started thinking over this weekend, what if we just stopped for 1 second accusing all of these artists of being crazy, and instead we started actually investigating some of the things that they've been saying?
Thank you to my channel members. We said thank you to my channel members. No Diddy when I say member. Thank you to my channel members. Fuck you if you're not a member. Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously, join. Thank you